Hi beautiful, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tinsaye and this is Aspects of Tinsaye, where I get to share all the little pieces of my life with you, from fashion and beauty to lifestyle and travel. If you're new to the channel or you haven't made the commitment yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified for new uploads, which are usually every Tuesday. If you like this content, please give it a thumbs up. Today is going to be a get ready with me. I'm on my way to work and here in just a little bit, so I figured why not go ahead and throw the camera on and just go ahead and record what I normally do for a day-to-day look. Plus I wanted to try out a couple of new things, so why don't we go ahead and get right into things. I have already kind of prepped my face, so I've done like my morning skincare routine, which is a video that I have recorded and should be up either before or after this one. I can't quite remember, but I've already gone ahead and done all of that, so we can get right into things. I'm gonna go ahead and prime my face. I don't usually spend a lot of money on primer, to be honest with you. I have never found a primer that does anything wildly different to my skin. But also, just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a makeup artist or any kind of expert at all. I basically have a face and I have some makeup. So if you're here for like tips and a tutorial, unfortunately you might be at the wrong place. But if you're here just to kind of chit chat and watch someone get ready, then you've clicked on the right video. So with that, please don't judge any of my techniques or my form, but I will take any tips and tricks that you may have. So please let me know if there's anything that I could be doing differently. Just use the Hard Candy mattifying primer. It seems to work just fine and I haven't had any issues. It does give me a nice matte finish and a little bit of slip while I'm putting on the makeup. So I like to put it on my forehead, my cheeks, my chin. I just kind of rub it in a little bit. It feels like it must be some kind of like silicone in this, because it definitely slips and slides a lot. Oh, I haven't gotten my eyebrows threaded in a little while. And looking at this magnified mirror is reminding me. So hopefully we can do a little something with that right now. Okay. So I've gone ahead and done that. The next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to let this sit for just a second. I brush out my eyebrows maybe 3 or 4 times during the process. I found that if I have a lot of primer or foundation kind of gunking up my eyebrows, I can't get them to look very natural. Alright, so for the next step, I think I'm just going to go ahead and go in with some foundation. I normally would do some color correcting and things like that, but I am running out of time today, so or some hyperpigmentation around my mouth and a little bit around my nose, and I have some dark circles, but I'm going to go ahead and take care of that with some concealer. So we are just going to go ahead and put on some foundation. So the foundation I'm using today and pretty much almost every day is MAC's Match Master, and I use the 7.5. 7.5 is like my year-round color. I can usually get away with putting this on even in the summertime with just a little bit of extra bronzer. So I love this. Love, love, love. I usually don't like most liquid foundations, but this one I have had 0 complaints. So I'm just going to put a couple of pumps directly onto my little beauty blender here. And again, no judgment on technique and form. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of pat around the face. And then I'm going to go back in and start to tap away. Since we're here and we're doing our makeup, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what my 2020 goals are. My more like introspective goal for 2020 is just to not allow fear to stop me, no matter what. So I think it's like changing my idea of what success really is. So to me, success has always been you set a goal and then you accomplish it. But sometimes you don't reach that end goal. Sometimes you don't reach that like final point. And the journey should be your success. So I'm allowing in 2020 for the journey to be my success. Okay. So I think we have like patted enough. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of concealer. Again, I have a lot of dark under eye circles. I'm gonna go in with MAC's Pro Longwear, and I think this is in NC45, which is a little bit light, but you know, it helps to brighten up a little bit. So I usually just do one little pump and dab and dab, and now I'll go back in and tap, tap, tap. So we're good there. Again, this makeup is like my everyday workwear, so it's nothing too dramatic, it's not too glam, it's just something to kind of get me out the door. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of set this. I actually don't use like setting powders for a majority of my face. I use a setting powder right underneath my my eyes, but for the rest of my face I don't set with setting powder. I actually set with powder foundation. So I'm using a pressed powder by Maybelline. It's Maybelline Fit Me in 355 coconut. So 355 coconut for my entire face, and then I'm gonna go ahead and set underneath my eyes too. So I think I'll do that first. I'll do the under eye. I'm using Makeup Revolution baking powder in Banana Deep. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of that onto the lid. Not too much because, woo, this stuff is yellow. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tap a little bit of that in. Tap, tap, tap. Not too much, not wanting to go crazy with it. And tap, tap, tap. Just for the under eye portion. All right. I know it probably doesn't look amazing. I promise you, there is like a moment where things start to click and you won't be so frustrated with me, I promise. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that Maybelline Fit Me foundation. I usually use like a stiff stippling brush. I'm gonna go in and then I just kind of just dust it on. I'm gonna do little circles to kind of blend everything. And I get really close to that under eye so that like where I did the baking powder, even though I don't really use it as baking powder, I just use it as a setting powder. So I go really close in there so that they blend. Looks about as good as it's gonna look for now. And then the next step is just a little bit of like a very, very, very light contouring because I'm underneath fluorescent office lights all day, so I don't need anything dramatic. So again, I use a pressed powder. It's the Maybelline Fit Me, but this time it's in 360, so it's a little bit darker than the 355, but not by much. So I just kind of use that. I have high cheekbones, but with such a round face, sometimes I get a little hidden, so try to find them again. And blend up. Blend, blend, blend. And blend it up. So anyways, as I was saying earlier, for the new year, my goal is to make sure that whatever I want to do, I do it. And if it fails, it fails, and that's okay. And that's not actual failure. Actual failure is not trying, and actual failure is allowing myself to get stuck in my head and think that perfection is the only option, which that's just not true. Get a little bit of under the chin, just a straight line, and a straight line. Be honest with you, I don't know what that does. It doesn't do much for me, but it gives me a little bit of, it makes me feel like I'm doing something. So, all right. So that is it for like complexion basically. I'm gonna go ahead and throw just a little bit of blush on, and then we'll do something with the eyes, nothing too dramatic. Again, I'm going to work, not out on the town. So I'm going to go ahead and use MAC Film Noir, I think that's what it is, for my blush. It is such a pretty plum color. It's like perfect for my complexion. So that's what I'm going to use. Well, anyhow, the reason that I made that my goal for the year is that I feel in past years I have felt and allowed myself to be stopped by this fear of failure, or this idea that I needed to be perfect at anything that I was doing. And the reality is, I don't think anyone knows what they're doing. I don't think even the experts went into things knowing what they're doing, or that they were going to become an expert at some point. I think that everyone's just trying their best. I'm going to go ahead and try the Fenty Beauty Snap Shadows and 3 Deep Neutrals. It looks like it's a bunch of colors that I'm going to really like. One of the colors actually looks a lot like the plum. It's like a little bit lighter plum than the blush that I just used, so I thought that that would be kind of nice in the crease. And there's a nice little like neutral brown color, so I think I can do something with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the light brown color, which is Nudie Booty, and I'm gonna put that all over my lid. So I'm gonna go ahead and just throw that on. I'm not putting any primer on my lids because I don't really need these colors to pop dramatically. I just really need a little bit of something just to go ahead and give me, I don't know, just something to work with. I think I'm also going to go in with a Morphe little mini palette. I travel a lot, so sometimes it's nice to just have like all your makeup in one little spot. So I'm going to use Kinda Natural from Morphe and put that in as well. It just gives a really nice natural look, or kind of natural look. All right. Oh, I'm putting that all over the lid, all over the lid, all over. Let me see. Bring this mirror up a little bit. Okay. And then let me see how dramatic I want to get today. All right. I'm gonna go in and just place a little bit of a darker brown inside of the crease, and then blend, blend, blend. I'm gonna use a mixture from both Fenty and Morphe. I'm gonna use No Fudge Given. Yeah, and that is like a nice chocolate brown, and I'm gonna mix it with the deep hue from the Morphe palette because that has a little bit more red in the brown, which I like, and I think it brings out some nice undertones. I'm just gonna place it here, and then I'm gonna blend it in just a second. Just gonna place it on both lids. So the brushes I'm using are just some simple, the black ones are BH Cosmetics, and then this like little white one is e.l.f. So not too expensive. Some of my favorite brushes are BH Cosmetics brushes, and I think they're having a 60% off sale right now. So if you like affordable, pretty good quality brushes, then I would say go ahead and take a look at BH Cosmetics. So I'm blending that away, and I'm gonna go back in one more time, and this time I think I'm gonna use the like plum purplish maroonish color that's in the little Fenty palette, and that is called Shots Fired. Oh my gosh, I love these names, they're so cute. All right, so I'm gonna grab another little brush. I think this is Sonia Kashuk, and I'm gonna grab a little bit of that and place it again just in that crease area, nowhere else. And then I'll blend, blend, blend. Like I said earlier, if I was going to be doing this look for more of a weekend or a night out look, then I would have primed my lids so that all the colors would pop a little bit more. But one of my little tricks is to leave my lids unprimed and then put my shadows on, which allows me to use pretty much whatever color I want because it doesn't deposit so much of the pigment onto my skin. It is like wearable for the daytime and specifically for work for me. So I'm gonna blend, 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 blend it, blend it, blend it away. So we are nice and blended. And what's left? Okay, back to those brows. Again, they haven't been threaded in quite some time, so I'm just gonna brush them up. And I'm using a Wet n Wild, nope, not that side. I'm using a Wet n Wild eyebrow pencil. I like it because it's angled. Normally I like a little bit more of a precise tip, but this one works just fine, so I'm not gonna knock it. And I'm gonna go ahead and just give myself a little bit of a shape. They are pretty thick right now, at least for me. And so I don't need to do too much there. But because I've now put on some foundation and powder and things like that, they've gotten a little dull. So I'm also giving the color back to my brows. All right, doable. So all my shows that I love watching are back. They're back in season right now, and so I'm finding it pretty difficult to be a productive human being. My favorite shows to watch are like crime shows, so I watch Law and Order, NCIS, all of the Chicagos. I mean, just give me all of the Chicagos, especially when they do a crossover episode. Give me the Chicagos with a crossover episode and I am a happy girl. But they're all back. And then this week, you know who's back? Criminal Minds. So if you're a Criminal Mind fan, please put it in the comments so we can kind of chat about that, because they're back and I think this is the series finale, which is too much for my heart to handle, but at least they're back. So I'm going to go ahead and brush, brush, brush and try to even them out a little bit. Brush, brush, brush. Brush, brush, brush. Alright. I'm going to do a little bit of liner just to kind of wake my eyes up a little bit. But I'm only going to do liner on the bottom and not the top, because I'm going to throw some mascara on and that should be enough for like my top lid. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to be pretty light with it, because this is a Rimmel London eyeliner, and it is very dark, and so I don't want to do too much, and it smudges really easily, so I'm just going to go into my waterline once. And that's it. Just to kind of give that like little line of demarcation that I needed. Alright. So eyes are pretty much done. I'm going to throw some mascara on, and then we'll do a little something on the lips and should be all set. So yeah, please let me know in the comments below if you watch any of those shows, which one's your favorite, and we can get like a little weekly chat going on about them, because I don't have too many people in my day-to-day life that enjoy those shows, so it's hard for me to find people to like kind of fan out with me about them, because that's the direction I go. I fan out. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this other eye going. Oh, I didn't even think I told you about the mascara. It's the CoverGirl Exhibitionist, and I love this mascara because it's so buildable and it really does make my lashes stand out for the day. And so I'm like a huge fan, and I have it in midnight black, which is always what I get my shadows and my mascaras, and I always get my mascaras in like the darkest color so that it can make them pop as much as possible. So I usually like to give a couple seconds in between coats for my mascara, and in that time I'm gonna go ahead and put something on my lips. So I'm gonna use a little bit of a lip liner and then probably just some lip gloss, to be honest with you. So this is MAC's lip liner in Chestnut. My lips are already pretty pigmented, so sometimes I don't need to do too much with this. I just need to help them keep their shape. And then, okay, let me see. My go-to combo for work, this is my go-to combo for work. It is YSL Rouge Shine. And I can't remember the name of this color. I think it's like coral something. I believe it's number 79. So I like to go in with that. Because it does give a nice little coral shine. But I also like the center of my lips to be a little bit lighter, just to give them that look. So I'm gonna go in with what is this brand? Wet n Wild. Duh. So and then I'll go in with the Wet n Wild Bare It All, and I'll just put that on the center and the top. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit for a second because the YSL is already so slippery and so shiny that I don't want to put my gloss directly on top of it. So I'm going to give that a second and go back in for my second coat of mascara. So yep, this Fenty Glow is like everything. So is there anything else that I need to do? I think a little bit of that under eye bake just needs to be blended back in. I'm gonna go back in and tap it around, and go back in and make sure we're bronzed up. All right, and that is pretty much it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take my hair out of these little like twists that I have them in overnight and kind of tousle it up a little bit, and I will be right back with the final look. All right, so ladies, so this is the final look. I've taken down my twist that I had in. My hair wasn't 100% dry, so there's a little bit of frizz, but frizz is just volume, so I'm cool with it. Alright, so ladies, I hope you like this video. This is my day-to-day getting ready with me, especially just to go to work or even like run errands during the weekends. It's a pretty quick face, and it kind of puts you in this little bit of light. That's actually been another one of my resolutions for the year, is to try and put myself together more often than not. I feel like in 2019 I got a little lazy, so this is one way for me to hold myself accountable, is to go ahead and film it and be on here. If you have any questions about anything that I used or did today, there should be some answers in the description box. Again, I'm not a makeup artist. I just have a face and I own some makeup. Hopefully you like this video and you will come back for many more. Hit that subscribe button, give this a like, and comment below either one of two things. One, what is your resolution for 2020? Or two, if you are a fan of any of the shows that I mentioned previously, please let me know so we can become friends. All right, bye.